the game, but see the boxing voice.
We're here with Carlos El Famoso Hernandez, two-time world champion out of El Salvador, who was fighting out of California, LA area. Now you're training Adam Lopez, who's making a big waves. You're also training Javier Rodriguez, who's a local favorite out here. But what else has been going on with Carlos Hernandez?
Well, we're right now in the process of opening our gym right now. We had our gym, but we're relocating to a nicer boxing, like a real boxing gym, and get more fighters and actually make and create real fighters here in San Antonio.
And it seems like where the California influence is coming here. You're here in support of Robert Garcia's opening of the boxing academy, and now you're down here, and we know that sparring, training, everything runs different over there. So what is going back to that subject, what is the difference between preparation here in the amateurs and the pros than that of California?
Well, what I see is more, I think they put themselves more in danger, but at the same time they have to watch out for what's coming. And when they're sparring here with bigger gloves, they're very protective of their fighters, of the weight differences and all that. I think I think that the California style is like, we don't care, let's train hard, and if he hits me, I have to work more on my defense. Yeah. And here it's a little bit different. They just go through the motions, and if they get hit with a big glove, it was because it was big.
Yeah, exactly. But now that it's a hot market in Texas as far as events, and there seems to be a lack of knowledgeable trainers with a lot of that experience that's needed to push these guys to the next level. So we're seeing Hector Tanajada Jr. and Josh Franco, they're having to go to California to train and just come home to visit. Do you think you could kind of help that out where we can get a little closer to that California level as far as taking fighters to the next level?
Well, there are a lot of really good trainers here. It's just a different style, and but I think with the style that I bring, I'm not saying it's like Robert's, but it's that California style. It's that LA style, baby. We have that LA mentality, especially when we're training. And so I think if I have fighters with me under my wing and they follow that style, they're gonna become somebody. They're gonna do something in boxing.
Yeah, definitely. And now you're training fighters, and it seems to kind of be a new chapter. As far as I don't know how many fighters you trained before Adam and Javier. What's that like, seeing that you're going and pushing them to the ring, and you gotta get in their heads, you gotta give them the confidence, you gotta tell them what to do, you gotta make adjustments on the fly, and you're kind of seeing yourself in their shoes in the action, in the heat of the moment.
Absolutely, it's something that I would want a trainer to tell me what I'm doing wrong, or what do I need to do to solve the punch he keeps throwing and keeps hitting me. So I have to tell my fighter, I have to guide him basically to make that adjustment to come back with a counter shot and win the fight. That's what we want, and that's what I want to do, and that's what I would wish a trainer would tell me if I were in the ring.
Yeah, and when it comes to training a fighter, I know there's different styles, different techniques when it comes to going into a fighter's head. Some trainers like to yell at a fighter. Some trainers are real calm. Some are just better at adjusting on the fly. How hard is that to find what a fighter needs in the corner to push his button, so to say?
Well, yeah, it's almost like psychology, right? I'm not a psychology major or anything like that, but I do understand that a fighter needs something personable with you. So if you know that fighter from the gym, you have to get to him at that level, at that personable level. And if he is okay with you yelling at him and you're gonna get the best out of him yelling at him, then do it. But if not, if it's not gonna work and it's gonna work against you, then you can't. You have to be soft and get into his mind.
And you got a lot of skill, and you still can hang in there. We've seen you where you put on the gear and you get in the ring to actually show them firsthand the pressure, where you can get in there and sparring with them, and you can keep up with these guys physically. So how much of that is an edge into training a fighter where you can actually keep up with them, in a fast-paced training environment, and even get in there with sparring with them?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not at that level anymore, but at least I'm there to give them some of that experience, some of that pressure, because like you said, I was a pressure fighter, and I don't think these people have seen real pressure. They just seen guys that are here, and they're waiting for one to make that mistake. No, forget that. We're about let's go. This is a fight. So that's what I bring to the table, and I want to smother a lot so they could understand there's going to be fighters that are going to smother you. You have to learn how to adapt so you can create room to come back with combinations.
And your name out of El Salvador, and I know you got some events coming up. Can you give us a little bit of shine on what you got coming up in El Salvador, and maybe some of them that are coming up in the future?
Well, January 16th, the WBA is going to do the KO against drugs and KO drugs, and which there will be, I think, a total of like 9 to 10 fights. A lot of regional titles fighting over there. FECAD, not FECAD, I'm sorry, the Fede Latin, and a lot of these, the regional WBA titles happening in El Salvador. And I'm hoping I could take advantage of that, being there and promoting the next fight and bringing boxing back to El Salvador, you know, because there's a gang problem over there. And so we want to get those kids off the streets and get them into the gym and get world champions in El Salvador.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you came from El Salvador, from LA. You reached the top. You're a 2-time world champion. So I mean, that's a good thing. But in the near future, what can you tell us about maybe with Javier and Adam? What to expect for 2016?
I expect big things, especially from both of them. You know, I mean, you have Adam, who's headlining in February 12th, I believe, on Showtime. He's ranked number 7 in the world in the WBA. Javier, he's an up-and-coming kid who's very popular here in San Antonio, and he's learning the style that I want him to box and punch, to be not just one-dimensional, but to think in there and to adapt. And that's what I'm bringing to these guys. And I see a big future in these guys. And God willing, if they stay committed, they're gonna go far.
All right, appreciate the time, the classy, always the friendly manner. Appreciate the time, and definitely be catching up more in the gym while I'm here in San Antonio, and maybe, who knows, El Salvador.
Thank you, baby.
Rod got to get a passport. All right.